Starting the live stream.
Oops.
Hello everyone. Good evening. Today is November the 3rd, 2020. And we have the bell ringing showing that it is 7 o'clock and it's time for us to start our mini numerology readings with past life with Lindsay Knights. Hello,
And
Sherry.
Lloyd.
And I am Lloyd Woods from the Ninth Vibration. Lindsay is my partner in crime and in life, doing all kinds of different things at the store. Tonight is going to be kind of an interesting night. At the end of the mini readings tonight, we are going to be doing a draw. And this draw is for a winner for the healing session with Jocelyn Doyle, and she is doing a remote session with doing past life and some Reiki and all kinds of different goodies mixed in there to help you get rid of some things that sometimes we push down so far that it's just hidden. So she's going to help to uncover some of those things and help you get past some of the different obstacles that you might be coming through. Also coming up at the store, we have, well, I don't know if I dare to say this, but it is 7 weeks till Christmas. So we are getting lots of product into the store and lots of different good things, very unique things, and I think you're going to be able to enjoy it. Coming up on the 7th, we have Lillian Porter. She is actually coming in to do some psychic readings. November the 10th, we have Lewis Maybe. And Lewis Maybe is a psychic medium. He hails from Toronto. But he's one of those high-tech guys that likes you to go to his website to book sessions with him if you wanted to do so. So if you are interested in having a reading with Lewis Maybe, please go to Lewis Maybe, LEWISMABEE.com, and he has a pretty easy and intuitive website that you can go in and do your bookings through that. On the 14th and 15th, Lindsay is going to be doing face-to-face readings at the Ninth Vibration. Lillian Porter is also coming in on the 18th. So again, if you wanted to book a session with Lillian Porter, please call the store at 519-265-9099. Coming up on November the 26th, we have Valerie Inksetter. She's with Empowerment Tarot. She's doing some tarot readings for those who are interested in doing so. Tracy Ord is coming back on the 27th. She hails from Calgary. She's also a psychic medium. On the 28th and 29th, Lindsay is going to be doing more readings at the store. And that just pretty much fills in the month of November. So, with that in mind, I think, as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing the draw at the end of the show tonight, so in around 9 o'clock, depending on how involved some of those readings are, it will be done at that time. So, thank you all for joining in. We really do appreciate it. And yes, thank you, Tony. Happy Tuesday to you too. I'm going to pass this over to Lindsay.
Lindsay.
You got it.
Okay. Thanks, babe. Oh, there's your coffee.
I've got
and
it.
Did you find that annoying bell? Keep me.
It's behind me.
Keep me on track. Hi, everybody. It's Lindsay here. Today's a very important day, as you all know. There's a vote going on. So we're just sending love, 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 love. What can I tell you? Oh, if you get a reading tonight, if you don't mind turning down your Facebook feed just because we get a bit of feedback. Also, if you want a piece of paper and have a pen handy, that would be great. I want to also acknowledge this last week I've had so many beautiful messages left for me, and on our Facebook page, and that really means a lot to me. So I want to thank, and it's kind of nice to get feedback because, you know, like I'm not really, well, maybe I am ego driven, who knows, but it's nice to get feedback, especially doing this work, especially being this transparent. So thank you very much for all your beautiful messages. It means everything to me. We're also going to be doing the draw for the mala, but life got busy on me today, so we didn't manage to do that draw, but we've got the other one coming. And I think that's it. Is that it?
Pretty much.
Okay. So Lloyd's going to be nagging me tonight, so that'll be good. Keep me on track.
Yeah, it's my job.
I'm glad. Okay, so here we go. Gotta double check these numbers, hon. Gotta go get my eyes tested. Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Oh, maybe I may have dialed it wrong, hon. Ooh. I've been listening to George Jones lately. Driving Lloyd a little nuts.
Sure is.
So the first number, I'm going to the next one because I can't seem to get the number right. Is that the right number, hon?
Okay.
The first one, you want to check?
I'll double check.
Because it keeps saying, no. Oh yeah, that's another thing we're going to do. Remember, Lloyd, we were talking about this. So, oh yeah, I just had, there's a reason I couldn't get the number. So if you guys share this post, we're going to do a draw of who shares, and whoever shares this post could possibly win a reading with me. And this would be an hour read, so share. How's that, Lloyd?
That is perfect.
See? So just share, and then I'll do an hour read on you via Zoom, now that I figured that one out. See, Lloyd? That's kind of neat that you inverted that particular number.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
This is Lindsay calling you.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi. Can you spell your name for me?
My name is Camille. It is C-A-M-I-L-L-E.
C.
A-M-I-L-L-E.
Yeah? Wow, that's kind of neat, right? Because you know that you're a pretty complicated girl. So the way that I see it, the very first letter, which is your cornerstone letter, is a C. And you see how a C, you have a very charismatic flair about you, that people are just drawn to you and that you like that. And you have the ability to kind of draw people in just through your energy and your way, and you've got this beautiful kind of sexy flow to you that draws people to you, and you do absorb the energy of people often. But then, this is what I loved. You see the two L's sitting side by side? This means that you also know who you are, and there definitely is a line. A little bit stubborn, no doubt in my mind. Also that you sort of feel that in this life that you need to be grounded.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're wrong? What if you just need to be present? Like, wouldn't that be less work?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be grounded. I was so grounded at one time, like, honest to God, like, Sambuca couldn't take it out of me. And so I look at it this way. I don't want to be grounded. I want to be present. I want to be present, and I want to be available. I want to be available emotionally. I want to be available spiritually. I just want to be available. Like, don't you think that that would be cool for you?
That's actually something that I hadn't, it's never been put to me that way. It's not anything that I've ever looked at prior to this, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like, I mean, think about it, grounding, like, and you hear a lot of that, and I honor everybody's perspective. For me, it's just completely different. Like, I just want to be present. I want to be present so you know that I hear you. I want to be present so that I can, you know, just savor all this beautiful stuff that's going on around me. And so no doubt with you. Then your soul essence letter, which is right beside the C, we have this beautiful bridge energy. So this lets me know that you're not particularly comfortable with conflict, confrontation, that from the moment there's trouble until it sort of resolves, that you just don't know what to do with yourself. You're definitely the energy of a dove, which is a messenger, and you have very kind messages to bring to the world. And then the E, which is your capstone letter, that's the end of your name. And this just lets me know there's always another question for you. That, you know, no matter where you put your mind, it's important. Whether it's looking at one of your children, or looking at the person you love, or looking at your dog, or being outside, like everything that you bring into your vision is important to you. Does that make sense?
Very, very much so.
And that sometimes you get stuck in that, like you just are drawn to it because it'll just bring you right in, that you get stuck in your head.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Birth year, please.
1982.
Okay. So this lets me know, hold on, I gotta see, you're showing me your hands. Let me see. We're going to the left hand, and here you are showing me a cross, and across the cross is a heart. So this lets me know in a past life that you experienced a wounding that would be very, very deep, but that your faith got you through. So that means that you come forward in this life with, there's a wounded spirit inside of you that is old. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And that, you know, like even like you're so sensitive, and you know that it feels old because this wounding would have sort of presented itself early in your life. You were also a scribe or a record keeper. So do you know what that means?
Can you explain for me?
Yeah, that means you have a hard time letting go. Do you know how I can drive you crazy? I'll tell you tomorrow. Like, I just love that. With you, it goes from your mind to your heart. Hang on one second. And then to your tummy. And it just kind of loops. And so, I mean, for you, that looping really does kind of feed your fear, feeds your heart, and your mind and your tummy all at once. And that, in fact, there definitely is a tightness in your tummy. So this would be a knot. Highly intuitive. Your month?
August.
Okay. And your day?
28.
Wow, that's neat.
Isn't it?
It really is. Like, I mean, 8. See, this is what's very cool. I'm needing to go right to your mother. Can you give me her month?
February.
And her day?
14.
And her year?
1960.
Wow. So, okay. So you have a soul contract with the mother, and this is for several past lives. This lets me know that the heartbreak you showed me in your left hand, as well as the cross, also reflects your mother. Like, does that make sense to you?
More than I'm actually able to put into words, yes.
Yes. And so both of you shared that. That was her gift that she gave you. And so not only that is the empathy to have, you know, a sensitivity to other people's pain and other people's upset. And for you, there's a conditioning to take it on. And there's no doubt in my mind that's why you've called in tonight, is because you're trying to figure out how to stop taking other people's stuff on. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, good. What you need to do is you need to step back. Like for you, if you look at the space, and I guarantee this is definitely connected to the past life, almost the severing of the umbilical cord. So for you, that would have been a very devastating wound, because we come to this life connected to another human being. We depend on them for our nutrients. We depend on them for shelter. We hear our mother's heartbeat, you know, and then one day it's like, bam, like we just have this severing. And so for you, there's no doubt that the more you love, the more you are afraid. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wow, this year you took a step. You took a step, and that's good. You should feel good about that for you, and I don't care how big a step it is. It doesn't matter to me. For you to come out of your comfort zone, never mind anything else. For you, that's a miracle, and it's amazing, and it's beautiful. How does it feel for you to be out of your comfort zone?
It's terrifying and exhilarating at the same time.
Good. So what I want you to do is I want you to go into the place where it's terrifying and where it feels that way, and I want you to have a conversation with it and say, oh my gosh, no. I'm not making all these changes to bring this fear along with me, so let's just sort this out right now. And I mean, because that's one thing, is when you take a step, what that means is it's an empowerment. And so it's where you take back your power. No doubt in my mind, in a past life, you were persecuted, and it would not have been pretty. It would have been like you almost went on trial. And so you'd have to sit there and endure all of that. And it went from one point to the other point. And from the point it started until it came to a conclusion, I mean, you just could not breathe. And so in the present life, you would feel the same way whenever you're triggered. Like if there's any type of issue, from the moment you hear there's an issue until that issue is resolved, you just don't have a clue what to do with yourself. And even when it's resolved, there's still a doubt in you. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then what I want you to do is I want you to go to the doubt, because I guarantee that that doubt does not belong to you, that it in fact belongs to your mother. And so if it's not yours, then wouldn't you want to leave that behind as well?
Yes.
Good. So it's like, you know, like that's why I love, you know, like, and everybody knows that I come from recovery. Like when you come from a place of recovery and like everything is, you know, I don't want to, it's just I was trying to figure out who I was. If I can get through that, I can get through anything. And that's what I love about being challenged. It gives you faith. Like we are not faithful unless we've overcome some huge, amazing obstacle in our life. So for you, 2016, that would be a big year.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It was a huge year.
Okay, 2007.
Yep.
1998.
I don't remember that far back, but.
Okay, you would have been 16.
Oh, yes.
Okay. 1989. Here you would have been 7 years old.
Yep.
Okay. So just so you know, in the year 1989, 1998, 2007, 2016, you left a piece of yourself behind that you are ready and your soul is ready to bring back into your whole, like your whole being. I mean, and this is why, you know, you're learning how to be courageous just by being like, I mean, that's the really interesting thing, is our reaction to some heartbreak is we just push it aside. But the truth of the matter is like, it doesn't go anywhere. It's like here. So we might as well deal with it. And so for you, if you can identify whatever was going on in those years, that no doubt in my mind, it's just going to bring it back and appreciate what we've gone through. Hang on 1 minute, you're showing me your hand. Okay, we're going with the right hand. And definitely there is a seed in your hand, which means you get to grow, but it also means that it's difficult. It's not easy. It also showing me that you are creating boundaries, but you don't really own the boundaries yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, ready? Right hand up. Let me know when your hand's up.
Okay.
I, in the year 2020, am committed to restore my spiritual power. Yeah, because you understand that you know you have power, but you're afraid of it.
Yes.
And that comes from a past life. Like, can you imagine, like, here you are in a past life, and, you know, you were persecuted because of your gifts, because of your power. And so what's really beautiful is in this life, you get to change that. You get to alter that. You get to restore that. And that's why I want you just to grow a set and just trust that you're going to be just fine, because what you show me, and let me just see, and it is in your left hand, you are showing me a tower. So this lets me know that you are a tower. You're brave, you're consistent, you're dependable, you're devoted, you're courageous, you're smart, you're beautiful, you wouldn't harm a fly. And so you have to trust on that. Now there is times where you come right out of your body because you get so anxious. It's almost as if you absorbed your emotion. So your body will let you know when you're doing it in this lifetime, which makes your body shake. But even still, like, that's the coolest thing. It's like, you know, if somebody, let's say if we're driving down the street and somebody is in trouble on the side of the road, we'll stop, we'll go to that person, right? But when it comes to us, when we feel something, it's like, I don't want to feel that. So we go someplace else, like, you know. And so it's just very cool, because like next year, no doubt in my mind, that you are just going to free yourself from all of this responsibility that you've carried along for a long, long time. And I'm just going to draw a card for you. See this? This is the card. This is your first card. This is the card of the sinner. So there's no doubt in my mind, because of what happened to you in a past life, that you were persecuted, and that persecution, what they claimed was that your hands were dirty, that you were either a witch or you were practicing medicine that was not okay, and so you were persecuted. And so there's a part of you that feels guilty, or you feel bad. And I guarantee it is just kind of like this residual from a past life. Like, does that make sense to you?
So much sense.
Okay, good. Then what you want to do is you want to just absolutely rub your palms of your hands together until you just restore that, because absolutely innocent. I guarantee that you wouldn't harm a fly. And so then you know that it's got nothing to do with this particular lifetime. Here, your next card is that as a shaman. So this definitely lets me know that you are a deep spiritual soul, that you are an old soul, that you bring medicine to this life, that you've been contracted to serve, and that you are a teacher. Let me see. Next one. This is the earth. So this really speaks about, you know, loving the earth or being a cultivator in a past life. This is working the land, providing food, just being in nature, but productive. Like, it isn't as though you're just walking around in it, that you actually created and grow, like you were a cultivator. Let me just see. Here comes another card for you. This is a card just about emotion and often feeling a bit overwhelmed. And so part of this can be the fact that you absorb the emotion of other people. But it's where, you know, the more that you create boundaries that are healthier, the more you'll just feel empowered. And the last card for you is that of the student and the teacher. So this lets me know that you are going to learn until your last breath. So this is really a curiosity, a spiritual longing, a seeking energy, and that you just see anything that happens in your life as a lesson. Does that make sense to you?
Very, very much, yes.
Yeah. So keep out of your comfort zone. No doubt in my mind that you are trying to decide what contracts you're going to be negotiating, because you are going to be in a very negotiating year next year, which includes family, creating boundaries and all that stuff. And yeah, but I got the bell, so I got to go. Did you enjoy your reading?
It was amazing, Lindsay. Everything was crazy.
Yeah, and with you, like, honestly, massage, going to see my daughter would be very beautiful. But it's weird for you to be able to nourish your spirit, because there's no doubt in my mind you taking that step took a lot for you. So now you get to celebrate all of that. So thank you so much for texting in.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Bye, love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Lloyd.
Okay, she doesn't want the birth dates advertised.
Okay. Where is this number? Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna have to write this out then. That's where we'll go is here.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, doll. And this is the number.
Yep. Glad you can read my handwriting.
I
I can't.
don't know if I can, to be honest with you. Thank you, love.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great to be on.
Good, thank you so much. Can you spell your name for me?
Amelia.
Okay. And so looking at your name, just looking at the letters of the name, both the capstone and the cornerstone letter are with A's. So this lets me know that you work with guardianship. This is an angelic energy. So this lets me know that you're a person that is very kind, very compassionate, that you have a great faith, and that you walk and kind of work within a guardianship or angels, and that you talk to them all the time. And if you don't, you should. And it's also the bridge. And so no doubt in a past life, you made a vow to come to this lifetime and to be a person that restores peace. And it's where you sort of are able to resolve a lot of, if there's any kind of conflict. And that for you, it's almost like you can't even help yourself, like you're a bridge energy. Does that make sense to you?
Totally. Yeah.
And the interesting thing about being a bridge is often you're a messenger, and sometimes you get the message wrong. So in the year 2020, what would be really good for you is to kind of step back from that. Like if you and I got into a bit of an altercation, like you and I could deal with that, right? If you got into some sort of disagreement with Lloyd, like I really have no power. I would have to trust that you and Lloyd would work that out. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yes. Then if you look at your soul essence, this is the letter E. And so I call this the mind, body, spirit letter. And so this really is a person that has a very seeking energy, where they question everything, a deep curiosity. And this curiosity is old. Again, no matter what it is that you sort of bring into your vision, whatever is in your line of sight is important to you. Like you notice all the little tiny things. You're all about detail. There's a certain part of you that is almost over stimulated with everything that you take in. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and what's really also interesting, if you look at two of your letters, you have the M, which really is a letter of movement, and it can be a little bit of chaos. And then you have an L. So you sort of like, there's this balance almost of two of the energies. Now I know I have your numbers here, so just so you know, I'm going to keep them to myself. But the first letter or the first number is the priestess. And this is the number 2. So she is highly intuitive. She's also connected deeply to the past, present, and future. So it's hard for you to separate yourself. Also, they tend to be scribes or record keepers. So anything that you've ever gone through, I guarantee that you have a file and that you hold these files on your body. And so if I were you, one thing that would be really good, and because we've had a bit of time just to hang out with ourselves this year, it's like if anybody has ever left you, if anybody has ever harmed you, if anybody has ever betrayed you or wounded you, one thing I definitely would do is I would write the names down on a piece of paper, because I guarantee that you have a file connected to that person, and you file and store that body, that file in your body. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and like there's no doubt in my mind that you don't want to go there, because you think that if you go there, that you're just going to relive the pain. And I'm here to say that you're already there. This whole idea of having these files is just an illusion. It's just your fear tricking your mind into thinking that you have some sort of control. So it's like, just know that you're already there. Looking at and you're a double 2. So do you do readings?
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, like, you understand that you're highly intuitive. Oh, no, not a little bit. Let me put it to you this way. Do you have children?
Yes.
Okay, so you can look at your children and know just by looking at them if they're okay or they're not okay. Just by looking at them, you know if they're lying or if they're telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And so you see that if you're able to do that with your children, that you actually have the power to do it with everyone, and in fact that you do.
Okay.
Like if you go to work and your boss, like you know right away if your boss is cranky, or your
Right.
partner, or anybody, any of your friends, like you don't even have to see them. You can hear in their voice that something is not right. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And that you're very, very good. You can walk into a room and know where you want to go and where you don't want to go, correct? And you know immediately if a person likes you or if they don't like you. And that is what you call intuition. We sort of associate intuition with a person with a crystal ball, or just people that do psychic, and all of us are intuitive. I guarantee every single one of us are intuitive. But it's just that we've been conditioned to believe that you have to be special in order to sort of tap into that, and it's just not true. Then there's a part of you as well that comes right out of your body when you're upset. Does that make sense? Okay. And the other thing that's really cool is if you can't sleep at night, there's reason. Like if you can't sleep, something's bugging you. So you might as well get up and say, okay, what's bugging me? Like somebody said something, because you're very, you have an absolute sensitivity.
I do.
Okay. And the other thing is, for you, you understand that you've come to this life feeling responsible or guilty. Like, even though you've done nothing wrong, you just feel bad.
Okay.
Let me say, very moral. That you have this real humanitarian soul. Like, you would never do anything to anyone to harm anybody. But that you absorb things, but you take on a lot of toxic energy around you. Like, does that make sense?
I guess so.
What that means is if you see that somebody, like let's say one of your family is upset, that you try and take away their grief, or you take away their anger, or you take away their pain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Or when they're angry, like you literally absorb their anger. And so do you see how you would absorb toxic emotion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. This is a shedding year for you, which means no doubt in my mind that you want to let go of certain things and that you're ready to move forward and carry on. And a shedding year means it's where you just say, I want to just let go of this. I want to let go of that. I don't want to worry about this, or I don't want to worry about this person anymore. So this is a year of liberation. Sometimes we have to be confronted with a fear in order to make peace with that fear. So I'm not saying it's been an easy year for you, but there's no doubt in my mind that there's been some shedding going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. 2013 would be another big year. 2004. 1995. Okay. 1986. Okay. 1977. 1968. So you were 4 years old, just so you know.
Okay.
So 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4, then 9, 10, 11, 12. Then 13 years old. 22 years old. 30 years old. 39. 48. 48. Let me see. Other thing I want to. Okay, just let me see. The other thing too is in a past life. Let me see, you're showing me your hands. Okay, so in your left hand, what you're showing me is war. So there's no doubt in my mind that you had to live through some sort of a war. And it was a very long war, and it was a very brutal war. And there's no doubt in my mind that you had to be very, very mindful of not only your food, but just everything. So it's almost like a bit of a scarcity. So with you, like I would say that you would be very responsible with money in this life. And that for you, it's like too much of a risk. Like you only buy something when you really, really want it. Yeah, and like what's really neat is the one thing I would do if I were you, and I do it like really soon, is you just go out and buy something random that you just have always wanted, but you just thought no. And it's just about getting rid of that sort of feeling, because it just kind of ties you to your money, which is like and you're not a money hungry person. Like, would you agree?
Yeah.
So it's more about the fear of it, for sure. Hey, Lloyd, can I see that? I need the mother's dates, love. Thank you, darling.
There.
I'm just going to your mother's dates. Just one moment.
October 12th, 32.
Okay. I was just 3 from it. Yeah, and see, like I guarantee with your mother, I guarantee that you came to this life to anchor your mother. So then you believe that your job in this life is to anchor other people. Does that make sense to you? And so what that means is if we believe that, like if we believe that in our hearts, then we draw people to us that are either in chaos, or they need a certain amount of, reassurance, they need a cheerleader. And so one thing I definitely do is I would try and change that as well, which would be really freeing for you. 6, 7, 8. And no doubt, like you understand that your mother, really didn't know how to deal with her emotion. And so even before you came to this life, you would absorb her emotion while you were developing inside of her. Like, do you know what was going on with you when she was pregnant and had you? Okay, so just so you know, and I guarantee that she would have been under a certain amount of duress, or there would be a loss around her. Does that make sense? And do you see as a result of that, then you would just feel like bad, like you would just feel the pressure of that, the responsibility of that. Just neat, eh? Like it's so neat, and this is what I love. Like, I mean, I'm one of those people, and I'm not about like the little girl inside of me or whatever, although I totally support if that's what works for people. But for me, it's actually going to the essence of the experience. It's where you actually kind of regress back into the womb and just imagine, like, if our mothers are going through something very difficult, it's going to impact us as we develop. So it's about being able to go there and restore the balance and restore a sense of peace and being able just to calm that down. And I mean, because if not, we're going to feed that in our life. I'm going to do some cards for you, just a moment. Whoops. Okay. Coming at you with a card. So this, you'll be able to see this card in a few minutes, but this really is about, I look at this elephant, and this elephant is in chains. And this elephant, I mean, if you look at the energy of elephants, they're so devoted, they're so beautiful, they're all about their ancestry. I mean, I saw this one video on YouTube about these elephants that came across these bones, and it was so amazing because they caressed them and they smelled them, and it was almost like they mourned the loss of these bones of this dead elephant. And so this is a very devoted energy. So there's no doubt in a past life that you were abused, and that you would have put up with a lot of stuff around the people that you love the most. And so you kind of held on to and sort of absorbed the treatment because you knew that they were just in pain, or that it wasn't about you. but that you absorbed it. And so in this life, that would definitely be one of the things that you could try to challenge. It's like, I don't have to absorb your emotion in order for you to love me. So it's where you kind of renegotiate that whole sponge contract that you came into this life with, as because your mom, you absorb the emotions of your mom. Here also is your next card. This is the scribe and the record keeper. So this lets me know, if you look at this card, that you have records and that you have them very neat and they're kind of controlled, and in a sense they're bound, and you appreciate them. But at the end of the day, all they really represent is a weight that you carry. So it's about going into the energy of the files and being able just to clear them away. Your next card, and this is, like, did you know that inside of you, you have a bit of a scream going on?
No.
It's like a frustration. And if you think about when you withhold your information or how you communicate, when we don't say what we mean because we're afraid we're going to hurt somebody or we're afraid of confrontation, that we sort of push even that down. And so it's kind of like a bit of a scream. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, just so you know, it's like nothing bad, but it's just whatever we don't express that we want to express, but we don't for whatever reason, that we shove down, and sooner or later, it's going to be like a scream. This also is a card that comes from the past life, and this is about betrayal. So no doubt the persecution that you endured in a past life, you would have brought some of that resentment forward, or that betrayal. So for you, trust is a big thing. Wounding, when you're wounded by somebody you trust, you would even feel it more than normal. That you're cautious of people, a little not as trusting as people. So I mean, and that you kind of hold on to your wounds because they're quite old. And your last card, this is a spiritual breakthrough. So this is where you're right on the verge of coming into a very powerful spiritual truth that you have been seeking. And this can be, just coming away from some old wounds that you're ready to let go of, and just being inspired to just heal spiritually and emotionally. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, next year I guarantee you're going to be in a restorative year, love. You're just going to feel like you're going to feel your feet. You're going to feel your backbone. You're going to feel like you're going to advocate. Like when I was in an 8-year, we opened our store. I wrote a book. I created a deck. I learned how to make jewelry. I told off the landlord. It was just a great empowered year. So I want you just to release whatever doesn't belong to you. Make peace with it, draw from the file, and release the file in light. And for you, like, you can hand it to your angels, you can hand it to the universe, you can surrender it to the moon, you can do whatever you want, but it's a liberation. It's coming away from the chains that have been kind of holding you back.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, no, that's, did you enjoy your reading?
Very much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome, and I want you, you're a goddess, you are an old soul, so I want you just to stand in the energy of the moon. And it just doesn't have to be a full moon, but it's just where you just radiate with that beautiful energy, and just bring it right into all of your field. Not just the sun for you, it's the balance of both the sun and the moon. And so it's where you just bring it all in, and you'll just feel amazing. But yeah, but thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll be following up with a full reading.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
love. Listen to Ferg, hon. Ferg is having separation anxiety. Oh, my ears are burning. Why are my ears burning? Thank you.
You're
Do you
welcome.
want to let Ferg out? Because he's making me sad. Is it? I'm doing this one here, babe?
Yes.
Okay. Just let him out, because I don't like hearing this.
They may bark.
Well, if they bark, it just means they want to give some messages. Maybe, who knows, their message may be better than mine tonight. get a drink. Here's to you.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Hello?
Hello, how are you? Are you there?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi, that's okay. Can you spell your first name for me?
Yes, it's Rose, R-O-S-E.
Okay. And so with this first letter, which is your cornerstone letter,
Right?
if you look at it, there's a stick, which is independence, assertiveness, all that stuff. And then with that kind of R forming, there's a bit of an armor right all around your chest. And then there's a little stick that comes back to the earth. You see that in the energy of R. So it goes straight line, then a little armor, then a stick that kind of goes back to the earth.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do. Okay.
So what that means is that you're a person that kind of armors yourself, you hold your emotions very close, but that you still are able to function. So you could be going through whatever and you still manage somehow to do your work or do whatever is required. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah, and then see the next letter, which is, I love this, the soul essence letter, which is an O. And this just means that you are just bigger than life. I mean, when you feel everything. Whatever emotion you're feeling, you feel it. And I mean, if you look at this, it's just this beautiful, like kind of dynamic energy, and there's lots of movement, lots of fullness. You're not a person that really likes this kind of surface relationship. There's a spiritual depth to you. There's a spiritual balance that's important to you. But it's almost as if you fill up your whole life. Like, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like sometimes too much, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like
yeah.
I'm booked every hour of every day. Then
Yes, exactly.
your capstone letter, which is the E, this is the mind, body, spirit. And see, that's what I think is so cool about the letter energy. Like if you look at the name Rose, I mean, it's just 4 letters, but it is a very complicated, complex energy within those 4 letters. So this lets me know that you're a person that just has this absolute fullness. And for you, it can be about balance. Sometimes one thing I definitely, okay, hang on. I'm looking and your hands. Yeah, see, that's neat. The right hand, you're showing me a table. So what that means is, and the right hand is the present. This means that you're literally looking at what's on your table. Like, you know, what belongs to you, what's garbage, what is necessary, what is a priority. And it's like being able to clear off your table. And at the moment, your table feels quite full. Like, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really interesting just that you showed me that. Okay, your birth year?
Yeah. 1965.
And your month?
March.
And your day?
Saturday. Oh, 20th. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
And see, what's really interesting is let me just see, it's in your left hand. And what you're showing me here is this is a knife. And so this lets me know that no doubt from a past life that you brought forward like injury and betrayal. And this also lets me know, like, I mean, the other thing that you're showing me is just this weight. And it feels like in a past life that you just gave so much of yourself. Like you gave so much. And it just felt like other people would take advantage of you. And that in this life, that not many people around you say thank you.
Yes.
And that this, do you see how that would carry from a past life?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, like, you know, it's one of those things, and that you don't say anything. Like, you don't say, it's like you absorb this. And so there is a beautiful way to be able to communicate the fact, because it's not just about you. For me, gratitude is everything. Everything, everything, everything. And if I do something for somebody and they don't say, not that they have to go, oh, thank you, no. But it's like, it's just the acknowledgement. I mean, it's the most, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what Lloyd said when he first met me. He couldn't believe how many times they said thank you, and he couldn't believe how many people that would come and hug me, and like, they were just happy to see me. That's why he was hanging out with me. He went, wow, that's a pretty good sign. So
yeah, I say thank you a lot too.
right,
So.
and I'm just saying that people don't say thank you to you. So one thing I want to say to you, because I know you're a very loving soul, and I know you're a very devoted person, and that you do so much for so many people. So I just want to thank you for your service and just being the person that you are. No doubt this is that you have the energy of an advocate, and so you would be like, and it wouldn't even matter if it was a complete stranger, if someone was being treated behind you badly or whatever, like you would have to say something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm totally an advocate, yes.
And we're not even talking, we're talking about animals as well. Like you're the type of person that if some dog was lost, I mean, you'd be out looking for that dog. Or if somebody, you know, and it's just in your heart, and this is the past life, and there's no doubt in my mind that you were a soldier, and that you were a soldier that was a very important soldier, and part of your job that you took very seriously was ensuring that all of your brothers or comrades were cared for. So I mean, you were like a little mother hen, and it feels like in this particular war that you would have been older and you would have had younger soldiers around you. So you're a mentor and you're a teacher and you're a person that loves to do this. I mean, we have teachers in this life that don't really want to teach, but with you, I mean, you just absolutely get great joy from seeing somebody else being more empowered or learning something new, or where they grow and you celebrate their success. Does this make sense to you?
Absolutely. I just started teaching myself. My own healing. So I love it.
Yes, and not only that, it's more like, but it's very cool because, you know, you don't want people to lean on you. That's not where your medicine comes from. Your medicine comes from the like empowerment and being
absolutely
100%. Yes. This is a big year for you. This year is connected to 2011.
Okay.
And that's connected to 2002.
Okay.
1993. 1984.
Okay.
1975, so you would have been 10 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
1966.
Okay.
So do you have any idea what was going on when you were 1?
When I was 1, I know that when I was 2, my brother was born, but I don't know what was happening when I was 1.
Okay. Your mother's birth year?
1932.
And the month?
October
And the day?
12.
Wow. And see, you want to know something that's really wild? Like your mother was not in her body when she was pregnant with you. Do you know whether do you know whether or not she'd suffered loss prior to you?
Well, she had my sister who was born prematurely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but the sister survived?
Sister survived, yeah, but it was probably stressful, yeah.
Okay. So did she have any type of miscarriage?
No.
Okay. Let me just see. Because when she was pregnant with you, like she was not in her body.
I believe it because usually I'm not in my own body.
But you want to know something? Like you are in your body, but what happens is you, like, no doubt in your past life, because you were this soldier and because you were a teacher and because you were a mentor, like you didn't really develop your emotional side as much as your logical side. So you come into this life, and so for you, smart, like absolute, have amazing discernment, can tell bullshit like in 2 minutes. Like you can tell whether somebody's full of shit or if they're being honest. You have this incredible ability to be able to sort of balance, and you're good at conflict and all that sort of stuff. But it's almost as if when you're triggered emotionally, your response is a bit amplified, because this talking about this past life, and we have tons of them, right? But it's like you didn't develop yourself emotionally, so when you are triggered in this life, it almost feels like it's huge and that you come right out of your body. But if you were to look at 1966, 1976, 1984, 1993, 2002, 2011, 2020, they're all connected. And you have come in this year full circle. And so that means that there'd be certain endings in this year. There would also be the opportunity for new beginnings or drawing a line. And so from 2011 until 2020, there are 9 spiritual lessons that you learned about yourself and what you need. So it would be a really good idea for you to be able to kind of look at that and see where those lessons came from, who brought them to you, what did you learn, what did you learn about yourself. Next year, and there's no doubt in my mind, it's already starting now, is where there's been a lot of change around you, so your life doesn't really feel familiar. So you're kind of questioning everything, like who are you and what do you want and what don't you want. Just 1 second. Okay, so I'm looking in the left hand. So this lets me know that no doubt something would have happened early in your life, in a past life, that would have taken you out of balance. And because you understand, for you, it's all about balance. Yes. And so when you get stuck in your head, or when it feels like you're stuck in your head, what I want you to do is I want you to go right to it. I want you just to go to it, and it's almost as if when it is triggered that you don't even consider going to it. And so what I want you to do is I want you to go to it and go, okay, like I know my mind is racing. I know that I'm doubling back. I know that I'm trying to literally, do you know why you keep your mind so occupied? Have you ever wondered why?
I wonder all the time. Yeah,
and I can tell you why. It's because when your mind is occupied, then you do not have to feel what's going on around you.
Oh, that makes sense. And
do you know what I mean?
I'm grounded at the same time.
Yeah, it's a complete avoidance from you just going into your emotion. And it's not just acting it out or not just pushing it aside, but where you actually go in and feel the emotion and be in the emotion. And trust me, you are so powerful. You could transcend that and completely transform that energy. But you have to be willing to go into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, like for me, that's what my medication used to do. It used to go into my storm inside of me. And then once I stopped taking the medication, not that I advocate, for me, this is what I did. Instead of me taking the medication, what I made the commitment was that I was going into the storm. I was going to go in there and I was going to calm it down and acknowledge that it's a communication from my spirit. Here's your first card. This is the Priestess. So this lets me know that you're a person that's very private, that you're a person that has great respect, that you kind of really want that between relationships is a very respectful connection. It also lets me know that you're very concerned about how other people perceive you, and that can be definitely connected to the past life where you felt so responsible for other people. And it lets me know that you have expensive tastes. This, I mean, which is great, right? But I mean, like, and so here's your next card. This lets me know that you suffered a heartbreak, and this would have been in a past life, and that you actually suffered a heartbreak early in this life. And so that kind of, it would have been very emotional for you. And so this lets me know that you've been carrying around some wounds, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're ready just to come away from them and just be in a place of gratitude. I'm going to do another card for you. This lets me know in the past life you brought forward the energy of dread. So the dread kicks in your stomach, the dread kicks in the fear in your heart and of what might happen, and that's what sets off your mind. So it's like literally going, wow, like that's such a cool communication. But I'm just going to go in and I'm going to thank my spirit for this communication, but I'm just going to calm it down. Because let's be honest, whether your mind is in a state of absolute turmoil or not, it is not going to change the outcome. Like, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just not going to. And the only reason you do it is so you don't have to go into the emotion of what you're feeling.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, there's no doubt. See this? I love this. Here, this is a card in a past life. You weren't just an advocate, love. You were a rebel. You were an absolute rebel. It's like, no, I am not. I'm willing to risk myself for the good of all. I'm willing to be that person that just is willing to say no, that this is not okay. And so, no doubt, what a beautiful card. This also is your last card. This is the card of the Redeemer. So, no doubt, in a past life, whether you were in war, whether you feel that you did stuff in war that you're not comfortable, or your soul is not comfortable with it in this life, it's just being able to kind of release yourself. You don't have to prove that you're good. You don't have to prove any of that. You don't have to, like I don't look at myself, this is my experience. I'm not working towards enlightenment. I believe I was enlightened the moment I was created. And so it's about just knowing that you have a good heart, knowing that you are an advocate, knowing that you've come here to serve and be of service just like you have in past lives. And so it's just about being able to let go of the dread. Okay?
Totally get this. Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
How's that? How am I doing, Lloyd? Am I doing all right?
Well, I'm working hard to keep you on track.
Well, I'm doing better than last week. Lily, stop. Gosh, I told you. I gave you a reading last week. See, like either they... That's what I love about dogs. You bring them out.
They want to be with you.
They do. They love their mommy and their daddy. Thank you, Lloyd.
You're welcome.
Are we getting lots of shares for the free draw?
We are.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? This is Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay. How are you? I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Can you spell your name for me?
Yeah, Sheri.
Okay. And your birth year?
1967.
Okay. And your month?
January
And your day?
17.
Yeah. Wow. So you understand that, I mean, if I were to say one word for you, burden.
Yes, absolutely.
Even as a little girl,
Absolutely.
that you came to this life and that you're on the hook.
Pretty much you are dead on.
Yeah.
You're correct.
and I mean, there's no doubt. Like, and what's really cool is there's no doubt. Hang on, I need to look at your past. I need to see what hand you're coming at me with. Okay. So we're going to the right, and it's almost really neat. It's almost as though you're showing me both hands at the same time. And it's like in one hand, in the past life, it's like this chain. And then in your right hand, or the future, or the present, is like a key. And it's like this for you is huge. I mean, it's where you literally have to be able to be in a place where you can just cleanse. Like, because you understand that you were the person of any one of your friends or family, you were the very first person that would either forgive someone or encourage someone to forgive themselves, correct?
That's correct.
But that you don't know how to do it for yourself.
Yes, that could be correct, yes.
Like it's hard for
I don't
you.
admit it.
It's hard for you to forgive yourself.
Right.
Like, does that make sense to you?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and what if I said to you that I just don't believe that's true? That you absolutely have the ability to forgive yourself, but you have to go into your heart chakra or your heart center or your emotional center and know that you are deserving to be forgiven. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes, that you're worthy of forgiveness, because it's really interesting, because the way that I'm going to refer you is you are the imperfect healer. And what that means is that there's a reluctance, like it's almost as if you don't want to be a healer, or you don't feel worthy of being a healer, or you don't feel like you bring, what you need to be a healer or a leader. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yes, like where you just feel that there's a part of you that wants to step in your power, and there's a part of you that's afraid to step in your power.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just very cool. It is. And this year,
Frustrating.
well, but you want to know something? It's one of these things. It's where, like, there's no doubt in my mind that in a past life you were persecuted. And I guarantee you, in this lifetime, you're very sensitive to any type of exposure. You're very sensitive to any type of judgment. You're afraid what people think, or how you're perceived, or you're not going to be good enough, or you don't do it enough. Like, you understand that.
Right.
It's just doubt. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah, and so let's check in. Your mother's birth year
1930,
and the month
December
and the day.
17th.
Like, don't you see? Like, think about it. Would you agree that your mother suffers from self-esteem issues?
Yes, I believe so.
That she had insecurity and, feeling like she just would take everything personally.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, and that she was very sensitive. Like, she felt like people didn't like her. If she thought somebody didn't like her, that it definitely would haunt her.
Yes, I believe so.
And do you see how, like, you were in her body? Like, do you see how, here, like, think about it. November, December, January, February, March, May, June, July, August. From now until next August. That's how long we're in the body of our mothers. That's a long time. And if you believe, like I believe, if we come from the body of a mother that has insecurity issues or shame issues, or her spirit is broken, that we will take on that burden. Like, does that not make sense to you?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's so needed with you. Like, I guarantee, like, you're so sensitive. Like, and you would be sitting there at the mall doing nothing in normal time, and people would come up to you, and they would just be drawn to you. Like, all these people that are broken or lost or need encouragement and all that sort of stuff. Like, does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah.
That has happened numerous times.
Yeah. In 2019, you planted a seed. What seed did you plant?
2019, that was last year.
Yeah.
I planted a seed. I have no idea.
I want you to think. It's where you would have planted seeds to grow. And it's connected to 2016. And that's connected to 2007.
Okay.
And 1998.
Yeah, it's 1998. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the year my son was born.
Okay, and your son's name?
Ryan.
Okay, and birth year?
98.
And the month?
December
And the day?
11.
Wow. Wow, that's so cool. And your father's birth year?
1927.
Okay, and the month?
September
And the day?
20.
And what's really interesting, like you understand your father had like an emotional wall. He would be hard to reach.
Apparently he was.
Yes. And I mean, there's no doubt in my
Yeah.
mind that he would have like an insulated, not that his love was conditional, but he was hard on himself and he didn't know how to express his love. So he had a bit of an insulation around him.
Okay, that makes sense from what I hear from my siblings. He died when I was 6 years old, so
Yeah.
I don't really know a whole lot
It's
about him.
huge. Yeah, no doubt. When you were 6, because you want to know something, hang on. See, you want to know something? Here's what's really cool. Your father passed away when you were 6, so that would be the year 1973 is the year that he would have passed. So that is a 2-year. And then if you look at your son, he has the aspect of 9 and he also has the aspect of 5. So you have a soul, past life, and sacred contract with your son. And so in other words, the universe said, I'm so sorry you lost your father before you should have. But we're going to give you a little boy that is just going to completely change. And so you'll know it is almost like a gift. Like, does that make sense to you?
Okay, yes, it kind of does.
Like, I mean, think about when you had your son. What was going on with you?
I was going through a rocky marriage.
Yes. And so
I
like,
was basically, there was no like emotional support there from my husband.
right. And I can guarantee you that this Ryan came into your life to teach you how male love feels.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because your father, your biological father, right, was gone by the time you were 6. So who did you learn how it feels like by? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't.
That's right. And so that's why you drew a partner to you that gave you nothing emotionally, and that's why you were fighting with him.
Oh, okay, that makes total sense.
But then what happens
Interesting.
is from that relationship comes this beautiful son that taught you how male love feels, and being devoted and all of that stuff. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, like he would be like an anchor. He would be like an oak tree.
Okay.
Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, like our fathers teach us how male love feels. And so if our father dies when we're little, where do we get it from? Like, So the chances of you drawing a healthy, beautiful male to you would be like, definitely harder than if you'd been present and raised by a man that was very present in your life, like your father. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And what's really
Yeah,
neat.
I understand that.
Yeah, and so it's just really interesting. So 1989, 1998, 2007, 2016, here a spiritual truth would surface that you could no longer deny. And in 2016, whatever is going on with you in this year, it's where you went from a place of learning a very significant lesson, and then now you're at a place where you're feeling more empowered, or you're feeling like you're trying to take your power back. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and next year you're going to be renegotiating some contracts for sure. Just a sec, I'm going to draw some cards for you. This is your first card. So this lets me know that in a past life, definitely the priestess energy. And so this would be a person where I truly believe that you just kind of, you had this certain grace about you, and you had a certain depth to you. And there definitely was a privacy about you. And I mean, you also had a caution. So it would be almost as if you just like, it's not that you didn't trust, you were just cautious. So you never really gave yourself emotionally. Like there was always kind of this where you would hold back so you wouldn't get hurt, or you wouldn't appear like you were kind of lost in the relationship. So even in this life, there would be a part of you that just doesn't let go. Like there's a part of you that just doesn't feel comfortable to let go to the people, the men or partners in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here, this is the card of I love this. It's about the animal lover. So this lets me know that, you may have been betrayed by people in your life. And so you turn to the energy of animals, and it could be a particular animal. It could also speak about spirit guides and, what kind of animal totem you have. But this definitely is where you sort of put your energy, or with like some sort of pet, or had a deep connection with a pet. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so neat.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't trust humans, but I'll trust pets. Yes, Lloyd.
Absolutely.
This one here, this is all about dark story or a hidden story. So this really is where you look deep inside at some of the negative stories that you either say to yourself, or like this thing that kind of sticks with you. And it's like, it could be like, oh, I was left as a child, or I blah blah blah. But it's kind of like there's this energy inside of you that's kind of stops you. And it's not because you're not worthy, it's not because you're not deserving. It's just that whether it's doubt, or whether it's just this kind of negative dialogue. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and like, I'm just here to say, like, whatever you say to yourself, like if you wouldn't say it to somebody else, like a stranger, then why would you say it to yourself? So I want you to be really careful of what your beliefs are. Could be beliefs about men. It can be beliefs about yourself. And so, and like with you, like there's this little nun inside of you. So your beliefs definitely are very, very, like they're like a vow, like they're like a promise. Here's your next card. This is persecution. So no doubt in my mind, in a past life, you were persecuted, and it would have literally broken your spirit. And you would have just felt very exposed. You would not have felt supported. You would have been angry. You would have felt just rejected. And so like you understand for you in this life that you definitely have trust issues.
Oh, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I admit that.
And see, and this is your last card, which is the card of the occult. So no doubt in a past life you did some weirdo stuff, like you like did stuff that made people nervous, and people were a little bit anxious, and you were a bit out there. So I mean, it's just really being able to look at your beliefs, appreciate that you're an old soul, appreciate that you've had a difficult path, but spiritual leaders come from a place where their faith is challenged. And there's no doubt in my mind that in this next year, you're going to be coming into a place where you just feel more liberated, more empowered. You're going to advocate for yourself, and you're going to start drawing lines that are just going to change everything in your life, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Sherry, I got to go because Lloyd dinging the
Okay.
bell. Did you
All right.
enjoy your reading?
Okay, thank you. I did. Thank you so much.
That's good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
So interesting. Like a lot of the people I'm talking to tonight, they're all shedding. Like it's all this deep spiritual shedding. Like, I mean, honestly,
That is cool.
talking about shedding, I wonder how the vote's going.
South of the border.
Okay, Lindsay, you be good. I'm going here. I'm going here. Just so you know. Oh, I'm sorry, hon. I messed up there, but I just have to go like this. I dialed and then I hung up on myself. Here, go, love.
Uh-oh.
It's Jennifer, I think.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I
Just 1 second.
okay.
I gotta try and get. Oh, sure. Okay, perfect. Now I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Can you spell your name for me?
Sure. Jennifer.
Okay. And your birth year?
1965.
Okay. And your month?
July
And your day?
29.
Okay. Okay, and so for you, like my ears have been burning all night and I swear it's connected to you. And it feels like there is a female that has passed around you.
Yeah.
Who is the female?
My mother and my grandmother.
Okay, can we start? It feels like there was a younger female with both of them as well.
Not that I can think of.
Okay, your mother's birth year
1939,
and the month
December
and the day.
16.
Okay, wow. See that? Like you understand that you had a soul contract with your mother.
Yeah.
And that there's a part of you, like, and just so you know, you share two of the same aspects. So she is inside of you. And there's no doubt in my mind, in a past life, it almost feels like she was your father.
Really?
Yes. Hang on, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just got it. Yeah, see, you have a soul connection with your mom. When did your mom pass?
May 23rd, 1998.
See that? Like right there. Like anybody who knows me, anyone who knows me, 2, 5, 9. Most spiritual numbers ever. You look at 23 is a 5. 05 is a 5. And there is a 9. Like right there, I'm telling you, it's like amazing. And just so you know that she left her body before the day she died. Like just so you know, she wasn't even there. Felt no pain, nothing. And it would have been like the day before. But just so you know, I just want to check. She's just flipping. I swear to God, she's screaming at me in a way. It's like, come on, God. And so she would have been in a shift year. So the year before, what happened the year before she died?
My brother passed away.
That's right. Just so you know, love, she had to go. That's why my ears have been burning. Because, I mean, and it's like I knew it was for you. She needed you to know that there was no way in this world that she could be here and be there at the same time. And she's also showing me that she could leave you because there was someone in your life that she knew that would just take care of you. Who is this person?
My husband,
Name?
Gary,
Okay. Birth year?
1963,
Month?
July
Day?
12th.
That's cute. You know what? Like, no doubt I could see how your mother would love him, but I also know, just saying, mother, that your husband at times can be a pain in the ass.
Can't they all?
But it's just so good, right? Because I mean, she's like, no doubt in my mind, he's like, an oak tree. But just so you know, that whatever went on the year before, that absolutely your mother is showing me a key. And so just so you know, and she also is sending this message because you got through to me, so that you know that both your brother and her are like good. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Your brother's name?
His nickname, what we called him, or his real name?
Whatever you want. You tell me whatever you want.
His nickname is Casey.
Okay. And birth year?
1968.
And the day?
19th
And the month?
April.
See that? It's a past life thing. That's a 2. So just so you know, he's an old soul. And like, this is one thing that's really wild. Like, in 2017, I was involved in a car accident, and I'm telling you, how I came away from that car, now I don't question nothing. Like, zero. Nothing.
Yeah.
And so, no doubt in my mind that he was an old soul, and there's no doubt that it would have been like, and I'm not saying in any way that I'm not trying to dismiss your grief. All I know is it was bigger than what you think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, here's the cool thing, is now you get to have a conversation with your mother, and you get to have a conversation with your brother, because, like, I mean,
Isn't that awesome?
you know why? Because she's been yelling at me since I flipping sat down here. And hopefully my ears will go back to being a pretty pink as opposed to a deep red. Jesus. Okay, hang on one second. I'm going back to you here. 11, 12. And so you're taking a step this year as well. What step did you take?
I filed an appeal at my workplace.
Yeah. And for you, there's no doubt in my mind that you tortured about this decision for a long time.
Yeah.
And that for you, it feels wrong because the fact that, for you, your job and what you gave these people, that you were a very devoted worker.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say to you, that's got no reason why you had to draw the line. The reason that you drew the line is because what was going on was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it isn't an emotional thing. It's not an emotional thing, although you're drawn into it emotionally. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you need just to have a conversation. It's like, look, sometimes, yes, we can be emotional about things, and it does alter the way that we sort of look at things, but that's not what this is about. This is about fairness. This is about being appreciated. This is about standing up and speaking your truth. This is about, like, just doing that. And it's probably really the very first time in your life that you were able to do that. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's one of those things that I want you, and it is a ritual, I want you just to imagine pulling yourself, your emotional self, out of this proceeding. And I want you just to say, no, this has got nothing to do with emotion. I know that I was a good worker, and I know that I was a devoted person, and I know that I gave and I gave and I gave and I gave. This isn't about emotion here. So I'm pulling my emotion out. So let me ask you, when you pull it away, where are you going to put it? Well, you know what? I know that you're going to figure it out. It's
Yeah.
like just being able to say, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I want to give it to myself. This is not personal. This is business. You know, and if you can come there, I guarantee it's going to help you so much. And it's about doing the right, and it's not just for yourself. It just feels like you're doing it not just for you, but for other people involved.
It's because the appeal is for someone else.
Yes, and all I'm saying to you is that for you, like there's no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what you need to be doing. If you're looking at 2016, which would be connected, and this other person, do you know their dates?
I don't. But the incident that we're discussing was 2016 into 2017, I believe.
Yeah, and so all I know is for you, I guarantee that this is involved with a past life. So if you look at your past life, I'm going to do some cards for you right away, because I truly believe that a part of you is doing it out for yourself. You're also doing because it's the right thing to do, but I think that there's a part of you that feels obliged to do it. And so I just want to see where that's coming from, okay? There's no doubt that you have an Empress energy, double 3 in you, so that really is protective. I look at that in terms of bear energy, like it's that power animal, the bear, you know, very protective. But then you also have a bit of this Chariot in you, which is the soldier, but then you have the intuitive, so it's like the sage. So I mean, you're doing it for so many different reasons, and all of them adjust, you know. Let me just look. I'm going to draw a card for you. So again, this is the Priestess. So for you, it definitely is about how you're being perceived. It can have to do with the fact that, you know, you're doing it because you can be heard, or that you wielded power in a past life. It could be, in fact, that you were a past life that you were a queen, and so there's a part of you that had to fight for her people, or fight for what was right and what was just. I mean, if you look at this figure, she's in a red dress, which speaks about power and authority and passion. So no doubt in my mind that you're doing it with grace, and you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, and that you are going to be heard, and that you can command a certain audience when needed. Just one sec. Here's another one. So this is a hook. So often, this is one thing you have to sort of look at. Often when people present a hook from a past life, it usually means that they feel responsible, and that people have the ability, even in this life, to kind of hook themselves in. So it's really being able to see, like, what is your responsibility? You know, like, I mean, do you have to fight everybody's battle? And so it's really being able to sort of look at this, like, if it isn't this battle, perhaps it'll be another one, especially with the 2 3s. So it's really being able to see, and I know you can do this, it's where you scan to see if you have any energetic hooks in you. And if so, where they are. And if you can locate them, then what you can do is figure out who they belong to. And so I believe in a past life, because of the soldier lifetime, that you would just feel responsible, like, and that people can just make you feel responsible. Also, here is your next card, and this speaks of feeling powerless, or feeling like you have no power, which is a complete illusion, because if you look at these hands, all they have to do is literally collapse their hands, and then, you know, like, that person would be free. So this really is about just this illusionment of not having any power. And so it's again about becoming more empowered in your own life.
Yeah.
This is your next card. This is scarcity. So this lets me know that you give and you give and you give and you give, but it also lets me know that it is hard for you to receive. So it's really being able to see, like, it's almost like, how much of yourself do you give away? And so no doubt this is really an important card for you to be able to see that you're entitled to receive. Okay, and here's your last card here, and this is the streetwalker. So this definitely lets me know that as a child you may not have gotten what you needed. You may have just, like you didn't get the love that you needed, or you didn't get that kind of reassurance or the confidence and just the expression of love. So then what happened in a past life, there's no doubt in my mind that you kind of gave yourself away, where you literally just gave until there was nothing left. And so this card really speaks about that, being able to hold on to your own ability to take care of you as well, that there's no point in just stripping yourself of your life energy in order to try and, inspire that in someone else.
Yeah.
So yeah. How's that? Did that work for you?
It sure did. Hello.
Yeah, and so like next year, it's really good because it almost feels like it's a reckoning year that you're coming into. And so, but it's like, I want you just to reflect on, whose battles you have been fighting, or who have you given your energy so away. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that you're trying to restore that a little bit, which is really good. That's where you need to go for a hot basalt stone massage, or do something beautiful for you, so you don't, finding that balance for sure.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome. The other thing that's really interesting is like with you, I'd almost put like an obsidian or like a dark stone under your bed, or even some selenite, because when you have the double...
I have a piece under my mattress because Lloyd told me to put it under my husband's side of the bed.
Yeah, it's perfect, because I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that will help you as well. But yeah, no, that's good. Good job, Lloyd. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too, love.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How's it going, Babs?
Good.
Okay, just a sec. I gotta shuffle. How's it going? I gotta shuffle.
Kim McDonald. Interesting. Whose battles have you been giving yourself to? It's like Ifadara has been trying to horn in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's trying to message everybody to say you want a real reading.
Oh, yes, so nice. Okay, now I'm ready, baby. Bring it on over. Thank you. Lily, quit fussing. Gosh. I know this was here, hon. So we're going here. I kind of blew that. I'm going to go to Shannon. That's funny. Thanks, my love. Hi, is this Shannon?
Yes, it is Shannon.
That's awesome. Could you please spell your name for me?
SAJNNON.
Okay. And your birth year?
My birth year is 78.
Okay. Okay. And so for you, you understand that you have a bit of armor.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And so armor, when you know the armor is when you've been triggered emotionally, and then it just comes right up, and it comes up like really quick.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you, is there always like the armor, is it always up?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so what do you think the armor is for?
Just to protect myself.
right? And so at the end of the day, what does the armor do?
Protects me.
And I'm here to say, I believe it isolates you.
Okay.
Okay? Like, there's no doubt that I understand why you think it might protect you. Because what do you think when the armor is activated? What do you think it tells the people in your life? What do you think it communicates?
To use the protected to stay away.
That's right. And here's the heartbreak, is most people will stay away, which means that they leave you, which means that it just wounds you more. And people that have armor, what they really want is for someone to come to them and say, you know what, like, I understand, Shannon, you're upset, but I'm not leaving you alone. So you're going to have to talk to me. You're going to have to trust me. And, like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's neat. So if I were to ask you, what is your armor made out of? What does it feel like?
Heavy.
Yeah, and where is it?
I would say right in the center of me.
Yeah, isn't that great? So does it drape up on the shoulders or just in the center?
Just in the center.
Yeah, it's neat. So does it get you in the back or just in the front?
In the back.
Yeah, that's neat. Like, don't you think that's the coolest thing ever?
Yes.
Like, to me, that is really cool. Like, you might as well get to know your armor, because, I mean, like, you understand that you've never had a conversation with it.
No.
And, like, you want to know something? I want you to have a conversation with it and say, you know what? Number one, this makes it difficult for me to breathe. Number two is that I don't want you to communicate on my behalf anymore, because I'm going to grow a set and I'm going to tell people how I feel, so I don't need the armor. And number three is I definitely want to feel lighter in my life. Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does make sense.
Because you understand, like, let's face it, right? If I go and put armor on, what I'm basically saying to my spirit is, you, girl, are preparing for a fight.
Yes.
Right? Like, and so it's like, so it's just so neat, because there's no doubt in my mind that something happened early in your life. Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm looking in your hands and I'm going to your left hand. And so definitely there's heartbreak in the past. Wow, and it feels almost so like, okay, this is going to sound kind of weird, but did you have someone who was fairly close friend that you thought was a really good friend betray you?
Oh, I can't remember, probably.
No, I'm not talking about a past life. I'm talking about in the present.
I recently just had a breakup.
Okay. And so, and would this be, and part of it would be, the reason that you had breakup was because of a betrayal.
Yes.
Okay, this person's name?
Eric.
Birth year?
80.
Month?
March, 3rd.
Oh my gosh. Like, you understand, like, I mean, he was a wall.
Yeah.
Like a total wall. Do you know what you were dating? You were dating your armor, love.
Oh.
Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Because if I asked you, who did all the emotional work in your relationship, who would that be?
It would be me.
That's right, and don't you see? It is so cool, because you were dating your armor.
Oh.
Your month
It's January.
and your day.
12.
Wow, see, that's really interesting, because, like, let me ask you this. How long did you want out for?
Of the relationship?
Yes.
It was a spot and a half year relationship. I probably wanted out of it 3-4 years into it.
There's no doubt about it. You were thinking about it like the very first year.
Yeah.
And you want to know something that's really cool? Is that there's no doubt in my mind that a lot of your ex is still in your throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, and something would have happened in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know that's where you're going to draw something like you learned about yourself emotionally, because there's no doubt in my mind that you've got this real insight. So for sure, and what's really cool is next year you're going to be in a big year, and next year, hang on one sec, would be connected to 2012. What was going on with you in 2012?
I can't think of, I don't know.
That'd be 8 years ago. I want you to think.
8 years ago, I can't think of anything.
Okay. Hang on, I'm going to draw some cards. Lloyd's already on the bell with me. Just one sec, let me see. So this is your first card, and this lets me know that you have walked a spiritual path for many, many lifetimes, and that you in fact are a student of God. And what that means is it doesn't mean like in how we see like, Christian or any of that. It's more just that you are a student and a spiritual seeker, and that you have a deep curiosity and you're trying to learn who you are and why you're that person. Like, does that make sense to you?
It is, that is true.
And this is like a real seeking. Your next card, this is the fragmented self. So there's no doubt in my mind that in a past life, or in a past life as well as this life, that there was injury very early in your life, and that you've actually left a piece of yourself behind. So this is a fracturing, whether it's divorce or something happened in your childhood. But now is the time for you to be able to go back and pick up those pieces. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us breaking off with someone or ending a relationship. It's more about why we can't stay. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do.
Here is the next one. This lets me know definitely that you hold a lot of your truth to yourself, that you either absorb your emotions or you don't feel comfortable being able to, express yourself, or that you hold it all in. And deep down inside, it's like, how do people know how to, treat you if you're not willing to kind of communicate that, right?
Yes.
And here's the next card. This is all about hostage. So this is just about feeling like, when it's not about being kidnapped, it's more about just absolutely feeling kind of under the influence of other people, and it's where we feel where we're held by that. And so no doubt, and your next card, this is the worker. So this is just about being very busy, very creative, productive. I mean, no doubt you sort of look at your value as what you do with your life. And so this is really about just looking and acknowledging all that you bring and all that you do. So for you this year, no doubt, is where you absolutely get to sort of draw a line, advocate for yourself, just feel more empowered, be able to speak your truth. There's no doubt in my mind, this has been a long time coming. You've had your day in court, and now it's like trying to figure out who you are without in this new beginning. So it's very, very exciting. And the one thing I also want you to know is, I think for you, there definitely is a part of you that appreciates, like, you kind of keep yourself a bit anxious and a bit nervous. So I want you just to say, like, I want all of that just to calm down and just to find your spiritual balance, which would be really, really good. Okay? Did you enjoy your reading?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and just enjoy this empowered, like, you're just going to love it. And next year is just going to be a complete shed. And it's like where you really look at stuff deep down inside, have a conversation with your armor, make peace with it, allow yourself to receive, because you've earned it. Like, you have gone through all this, and no doubt you're just going to continue to heal a lot of the wounds. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Keep us posted.
Oh, we will do.
Okay. Bye, love.
Bye.
Lily. Stop, Lily. How's it going, boy? Lily, stop.
Oh, Lily. There we go.
Oh, and now I've done this one. So, then we go to Jasmina. Is that where we're going?
No, I think we missed one there.
Oh, where?
Did you call her?
Here?
Did you call her?
Yeah.
Okay, then,
Oh, here.
yeah.
There's two people. Okay, so Jennifer? No, Carrie. All right, here we go. Oops. Oh, I can't see it, hon, because you screen. Do you have the number? Is that one? Is that? There we go. That's the number?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just don't want to do the wrong number. Thanks, darling.
Okay. We have an unusual number of people trying to hijack their readings, getting people to private message.
Hi, how are you? This is Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Can you spell your name for me?
Yes, it's Kerry.
Okay.
Okay. My name's hyphenated. Does it matter?
Okay, go ahead. Give me the other one.
Hyphen Lee.
Okay. And so it's really interesting because when you see you have two names. So I think it's just interesting because like right there's a bit of balance issue, which I think is very interesting. So I mean, and then the really cool thing is that you have the L and then you have the double E's. So when the double E is beside them, like right beside each other, it's almost as if that you just have a difficult time coming away from your mind. Then if you look at Carrie, you have a double R. So it's like a double R in one name, double E in another, which I just think is very, very interesting. Your birth year?
1980.
Okay. And your month? February?
Yes.
Okay. And your day?
17.
Okay. Wow, and so February 17th. And so for you, there's times where you feel that you don't, like, that you come right out of your body.
In a way, yes.
And where you just, like, there's no doubt, like, you're an old soul, so you have a kind of a complicated, complicated and complex divide. Like there's one part of you that is an old soul that's connected to the earth. Then there's these other parts of you that are very much connected to the stars. And honestly, with you, it can go either way. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Like just depending on the phases of the moon or whatever is going on around you. And that kind of, even that, just knowing that for you makes you a bit anxious. Would you agree?
I agree totally.
Yeah, and it's just really interesting. So there's also, hang on, you're showing me, I'm going to your left or right hand, let me see. So we're going to the left hand, and here you're showing me a shoe. So this lets me know that no doubt in a past life, that you actually felt like an orphan, or you were orphaned in some way. So in the present life, this lets me know that you definitely have issue with any type of dismissal, that there's a part of you that desires intimacy and yet there's a part of you that is afraid of it. There's a part of you that believes deep down in your soul that relationships are quite temporary. Like, does that make sense to you?
In a way, yes.
What that means is that like you don't really trust, not completely, like not anyone. There's always you will always have a bit of a net. And I believe that this is definitely connected from past life where you were betrayed or orphaned or thrown away, and sensitive to all of that. Like, I mean, for you, it'd be really hard for you to drive by like a stranded cat. Even if you have 10 cats at home, you're bringing home that cat, if you know what I'm saying.
All right.
Like, it wouldn't even matter. It's like, we're going to find a way. Also, there's the record keeper. So this lets me know that deep down in your soul, that you believe you have to be 10 steps ahead of any given situation.
That's very funny, yes.
And so underneath that is definitely a dread. And so if I were to ask you, like, what do you think you're preparing for? Like, what do you have to be prepared for?
Disaster, I don't know, for like the worst case scenario usually.
Right. And see, what's really interesting is like you understand that you're not a negative person.
Yeah.
So then why would you bring that energy to your life? Because your soul isn't negative. Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
I can tell you why.
I'm always picturing the worst case scenario and then going, why am I putting this in my head?
And I guarantee that you were contracted to do so because you and I both know that that isn't you speaking, that's your mother speaking.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so, that's the thing that I find is so amazing, right? Like, we catch ourselves. I mean, think about it. There is not a more unique relationship on this planet. Why? Because my daughter began life inside of my body. Like, that is just amazing. It's like no doubt in my mind. So it's like really being able to see how that is for you. It's like no doubt. It's like, so I mean, because it just makes sense. So your mother's birth year?
My mother's birth year is 49.
Okay, and the month?
September.
And the day?
6.
See that? 18, 19, 21. See that? Do you want to know something that's really wild? Is that like all the stuff that your mom, like if you look at your mom, no doubt in my mind that she has a lot of, absolutely has a lot of anxiety, correct? And that she worries about everything. And that she can't sleep, and she's a bit of a control freak. Like, as long as she controls her children so they'll do what she wants them to do, then she kind of rests a little better, but she never really rests.
No.
And so do you see how, you mirror her? Yeah. And what's really interesting is it's like, how do you stop doing that? Like, how do you sort of remove that from because it's like complete influence from your mom, which I just think is very cool. Yeah. Let me see, 9. Wow, so this is a big year for you.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's where you get to draw lines for creating different contracts between people. And last year you would have taken a step. What step did you take last year? And the year before that, you would have planted a seed. And that year is connected to 2015.
2015. That was the year my daughter was born.
Okay. And your daughter's names?
Cameron.
Yeah. And what year was she born, sorry?
2015.
Okay. And her month?
August.
And her day?
13.
See what's really neat? Are you ready for this? I flippin' love it. Your mother shares the same energy as your daughter. And so what that means is that you can restore, because do you want your daughter, let me put it to you this way. You understand that both you and your mother have a difficult time saying no without feeling guilty.
Totally, yeah.
Right? And so you see the importance of being able to restore that so that your daughter will have the freedom to be able to say no without feeling guilty.
Yes.
Good.
It's been one of the things I've been working on, is not to feel guilty to say no.
Yeah, no is a good word. It's like, if I don't want to do something, I'm going to say no. So, it's like being able to kind of look at that, right? And then we're looking at 2006.
2006. Yep.
Okay. 1997.
17, yeah.
Okay. 1988.
I was 8.
Okay. Yeah. So 8 years old. Do you have any memory? Something would have taken you right out of your balance. Like when you're 8, what grade is that? Like grade 3, 4?
Grade 4, grade 1988 would be grade 2 or grade 3.
Okay. So do you have any memory of what something happened there?
No.
Okay. And 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So this definitely, like, that's what I find is just so interesting, is that for you, it's about being able to shed the experience and the influence of the mother, and being able to figure out who you are without all of that underneath it, if that makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to draw some cards for you, just a sec. Here's your first card. Again, this is hostage, or this is kind of influence. So there's no doubt in my mind that that's something that you're trying to break away from. Would you agree?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so this is where, you just feel either you've given away your power. It could be in a past life, in fact, where you were a slave, or where you were kind of abused, or, so yeah, it's like very important for you to be able to liberate your spirit and liberate yourself. See this? Look at both of these cards. Let me know that in a past life that you actually went to jail. So a part of what's going on with you is that your soul has memory of that. So you're just afraid to do something wrong that will end you back up in jail. Like, out of all my cards, there are 2 cards that represent kind of this hostage, or the bars, or limitation, or bound. And you got both of them. Like, don't you think that's the coolest thing?
That is crazy.
And so it helps you to understand that you also are kind of like, you're concerned about how you're perceived, because it just wasn't the fact that you were imprisoned in a past life. It's that everybody would have been able to see you. So it's the exposure of that, and then coming back out from jail, like, and having to sort of readjust. So for you, there's no doubt in my mind that you would sort of anchor onto certain possessions or whatever, where you would just feel, that you just don't want to lose anything.
Yes.
Here comes another card for you. So this is the shapeshifter. So definitely this is all about just feeling kind of torn between 2 worlds. So it's where your mind goes 2 or 3 different ways, and so you get caught up in your mind. Part of it is because in a past life, there's no doubt that you spent more time in your mind than you did with feeling your life and all that sort of stuff. So just no doubt it's being able to say, I want to just calm down my mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Next card. Here it is here, and this is a hook. So this lets me know, no doubt in my mind, that people have the ability to hook into you, that they can make you either feel guilty, or they can, it's just where they know how to hook into you. They know how to push your emotional buttons, so they'll get what they need. So one thing I definitely would do, and this is old, this comes from a very, old past life, and it's where you just identify like who you believe you have a hook with, or who you feel responsible for. And so, yeah, no doubt. Next one, this is your last card. This is union. So this is all about just being able to look at relationship and just union and connecting and love and support and being able to receive and feel supported. So these are all energies that are connected to a past life. So in this year, which is very cool, is where you get to really create boundaries. Next year, you're just going to feel much more emotionally present, much more emotionally assured. It's where sometimes, because we're responsible for being a beautiful example for our children, it brings the hero out in us, because they will lead. Like, we lead by example, and our children will watch. Like, as much as my daughter definitely has her own way in life, honestly, like, I don't know how many times Lloyd will say to me, oh my gosh, she's just like you. And it is true, you know, fundamentally we sort of share the same kind of responses, because she watched, you know, she was there as we grew up. So just so you know, I'm excited for you. You know, definitely look at some of the files, look at some of the hooks, being able to step back, try and say no more, and trust me, it'll just be really good. And then even look at, you know, when you sort of stepped in to protect or shield your mother, and then trying to renegotiate that. It's like, I'm busy now, like I got my own kids. So it's just about the empowerment of female energy, which is really, really good. Okay, Carrie, did you like your reading?
I thought it was fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah. And so, like, just be in your truth, and just absolutely, I can feel that you're very, very empowered, which is good.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Okay, love.
Have a
Bye-bye.
great night.
You too. Bye-bye. So how's it going, Babs?
Well, I'm busy deleting people who are trying to get people to private messaging for readings and guardianships and stuff.
Here's the really funny thing. Like, there are people on there that are readers that have like 2 million people watching them. If this person is looking here, like, honestly.
I don't think they're actually going to be getting anybody to read.
But all I'm saying is, it's all good. But yeah. So thank you, everybody. The readings tonight were very, very cool. Yes, I'm gonna you come and draw them, huh? Fergus Allen. Fergus Allen, night voice.
We got a lot of entries in the draw tonight.
I know. I'm really, really excited.
All right, I'm storing them up.
Okay, so I get
Dogs
to
are
pick this
excited.
one. Did you pick last one?
No, you picked up. You go
Oh
ahead.
no. Okay, here. No, remember I was shaking it.
Oh, yeah.
You picked.
I picked it. Okay.
Okay, bring it up, hun, so I can't see. Okay.
The dogs are excited.
Kayla Clayton. Kayla Clayton, no doubt, this is for you. Jocelyn, we're so excited. I think you're going to just absolutely love it. So Kayla Clayton is our winner for tonight. Yay. And then also, I guess we'll do a draw. We'll post on who gets the free reading for the draw, right? For sharing the draw.
Okay.
Yeah, so
We'll have to do that a little bit later.
Yeah, we can do that later, so no worries. And now, we're good? Listen to our
I
dogs.
believe we are good.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
yeah, I'm still blocking some of these hijackers here. It's kind of funny.
Oh, don't even worry,
Yeah.
babes. But anyways, Kayla Clayton, congratulations, congratulations. We're going to be offering another draw this coming week, so you'll see it posted. Also, we're going to be drawing for the Mala, and we're also going to post about the free reading.
Excellent.
Right? Yeah. Okay? So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all for joining in.
We'll see you next week, hopefully, and have a beautiful evening. And now we're going to go and see what the tally is on the votes. Bye for now.
Bye.